Coming up on No Pulp, it's another week of college basketball, which means another number one team has been knocked off. We'll let you know what to make of Purdue following its buzzer-beating loss to Rutgers.
And we'll tell you why, without Paige Beckers, this year's UConn squad may be the worst Huskies team since the turn of the century.
And then, Jaron, we'll wrap things up, literally giving out some holiday gifts to close out the year. So don't go anywhere. No Pulp starts right now.
Crazy? Again, you're going over too many times. I can't with you.
When you lose those games, it's tough for those teams.
Mainstream.
I am ready to go to battle.
Welcome on into the CitrusTV studios for the final show of the year. Noah Cierzan here alongside my co-host Jaron May, and it's been a fun semester talking about college sports, Jaron.
Yeah, really fun. We got one last show though.
Yeah, we do have a last show, so we'll save some of the sentimental stuff for later, because once again we have a stacked set of headlines starting over in the Big Ten, where Rutgers dethroned the number one team in all of the land, Purdue, on a Ron Harper Jr. buzzer beater. Jaron, he also dropped 30 on the night, and Purdue, let's just say they looked far from invincible in that one. So overall, how does this game impact your view of the Boilermakers moving forward?
It doesn't really impact that much because Purdue's going to be fine. And you think about all of the really good teams right now. Alone, I mean, Baylor's kind of by itself, and they're still undefeated. Arizona's still undefeated. But Gonzaga, Kansas, Duke, UCLA, Alabama, a lot of the top teams have a loss. So losing one of these non-conference games is not the biggest of deals, especially in a game like this where this was just a freak play. I mean, if Ron Harper Jr. tries to take that shot 20 times, he's hitting it maybe 3 times. That was a ridiculous buzzer beater to end off a wild game. Purdue's going to be fine. They still have the number one offense according to Ken Pom. They still have a lot of top players, top 5, even top 10 in the entire country. You can name pretty much 3 of their guys, and they could make an argument to be in the top 10 players.
Yeah, I agree, Jaron. For me, Purdue's still top 5 team in the country. If this proved anything, it's that no game is given on the road in the Big Ten. The thing that worries me about the Boilermakers is you talked about how they're great on offense. On defense, not so much, ranked 40th in defensive efficiency per Ken Pom. So something to be wary about with Purdue going forward, but still amongst one of the best in the country.
Yeah, our friend Jacob Morris would not be too happy if you're worried. I'm not worried though, Jacob, so don't worry about that. As the former number one goes down, a few number one emerges. And who else would it be but Baylor, the reigning national champs, are up to the top spot in the new AP poll and are coming off a 21-point thrashing over number 6 Villanova. Noah, I'll keep this one plain and simple. Is this year's national championship just Baylor's to lose?
It's not that plain and simple, Jaron, but the Bears are pretty darn good. You would think that when you lose your 2 best players in Davion Mitchell and Jared Butler, you maybe have a little bit of a step back. But for Scott Drew, that hasn't been the case whatsoever, because you've had some guys really step up into big-time roles, and we've seen it all season long. I'm talking about L.J. Cryer. He's a guy who's a sophomore. As a freshman, didn't play too much, now averaging over 14 points per game. And as a team, they have 4 guys averaging in the double figures in scoring per game. So this is a versatile Baylor team, and you see it right there. 36 points is what they led up against a very solid Villanova squad. Let that be known. The Wildcats are a good team, an really Elite 8 team. So the fact that they are that lock up on defense, I don't think it's Baylor's to win outright, but they're the number one team in the country.
Yeah, and we'll definitely be talking about them late in March, early April. But here's the thing. I can't be completely sold on the Bears as of now, because their strength of schedule and their non-conference specifically is just atrocious. If you want to get nitty-gritty, it's 264th in the entire Division I of college basketball. They haven't really played anybody other than
Michigan State.
They played Michigan State and Villanova.
Another ranked opponent.
Those are the only 2 that I will say. Those are the only 2. Now, this game, I actually think it tells more about Villanova on that side, because Nova, whenever they play ranked opponents, the Wildcats just fall apart. They don't have the height. They don't have the go-to guy, and I know Colin Gillespie is still a human being and he's still really talented. However, I don't think he has that killer trait that you need in your number one option. Villanova's really good. They will be late in March. However, they need to start figuring it out against the top-ranked teams.
Well, I think for now we can both agree Baylor, the number one team in the country on the men's side. And for the women's side, I know a lot of people, including ourselves, Jaron, thought UConn were going to be the favorite, but Paige Beckers goes down with a knee injury. She'll be out indefinitely. And the Huskies, they've struggled. They lost against Georgia Tech and were held to just 44 points in that game. Bounced back against UCLA, but Jaron, for the Huskies to move on, when they don't know when Beckers is coming back, who needs to step up?
Well, it's the senior guard duo of Christina Williams and Avina Westbrook. Those two are your leaders. They're your veteran presence. Those are the females to step up and play in the big moments. And when Paige has been out for the past 2 games, they haven't done that. They've been scoring the exact same, just around 11 points per game. It's decent, but when your number one option goes down, you gotta contribute a little more. And Paige was not only a one-dimensional player. She's not only a scorer, she's also a distributor, also a rebounder, averaging 5 rebounds per game. That's something that UConn has not added since she went down for the last 2 games. And distributing-wise, Williams and Westbrook, both guards, both can distribute, but they haven't done that in the last 2 games. Those two are really the two that I'm looking for to step up.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jaron. I'm going Williams specifically. She's somebody that earlier on in the year in the Battle for Atlantis dropped over 30 points. So she has that scoring prowess in her repertoire, but it's more than just scoring the rock as we've seen. It's about who can take hold of this team and be the de facto leader for as long as Beckers can't play on the court, because Beckers was that one person when you needed a bucket in crunch time, someone to go to. It was Paige every single time. So Gino Ariema needs to find that on this UConn squad, because they've still got the nuts and bolts. They've still got a great shell. And I think Williams, the senior, can be that player.
Yeah, and they do have some other injuries. Ozzie Fudd, their big number 1 overall recruit coming in, has been out, only played 4 games this season. So it has been difficult for the Huskies. I think they'll get back into it, especially if Beckers is back for March time. All right. So UConn is faltering a bit, but South Carolina is just continuing to dominate. The Gamecocks are still undefeated with wins over number 9 Oregon, number 2 UConn, and most recently, number 8 Maryland. Noah, I just don't know how any team is going to slow down this Gamecocks squad.
Yeah, and I know, Jaron, a lot of people looked at that Maryland game and were like, maybe we can poke some holes in the game of the Gamecocks, what they do. But I look at the box score, and I look at a team that out-rebounded a top 10 squad 61-34. Like, that's what big, Power 5 programs do against small mid-majors. It was only a 7-point game. Maryland, obviously, a great team. But for South Carolina, I just don't think they had the shooting in that game. Only 35% from the field, but it's not going to happen very often where they don't have a great shooting night and you have the chance to upset them. So I think they are, got so many facets of their game that are spectacular, and it's not always about offense. It's about rebounding. It's about their defense that makes it so hard to beat them. I think if you want to beat the Gamecocks, it's about the 3-ball. You got to shoot the lights out. Not easy, though.
100%. You have to get offense on the outside, because when you look to the inside, you have 6'4", 6'5", 6'7" in Camila Cardoso as well, but also Aaliyah Boston, who is probably going to be the player of the year. She's 6'5" as well. They have a lot of tall players inside. They out-rebound teams by plus 19 on average. That's ridiculous. And they block 9 shots a game, which is number 1 in the entire country. So you can't get to the inside against the South Carolina team. You need to get to the outside, and you just got to get lucky that they are on an off night.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun team to watch the rest of the way out. We're going to hit a quick break here on No Pulp, but when we come back, we're putting on the full court press and bringing on Citrus TV's resident college basketball expert. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 90.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Every Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back into the CitrusTV studio. Noah Cierzan here alongside Jaron May. We're now joined by Liam Griffin, who has come on as this week's challenger in the Juicer. Liam, how's it feel to be in the hot seat?
You think I'm scared of Jaron? You're
Whoa.
absolutely ridiculous. By the way, Noah, you look fantastic today.
Thank you. I won't take that into the consideration in my judging. Appreciate the compliment nonetheless. We're going to get into the Juicer, and for those who don't remember, the way this will work is that I'll give out a prompt about the college basketball season, and both contestants will have 30 seconds to explain their answer, and I'll be the judge of who wins the point. And we're going to start out on the men's side of college basketball, where we've already had a lot of phenomenal games, but Jaron, who had the most impactful win?
It is Alabama beating Gonzaga, because the last time Gonzaga had 2 wins at December 4th, you have to go all the way back to 2011. So that game showed that the Zags this year are beatable, and it's never been that way. Alabama was only the number 16 team in the country. Gonzaga was number 3. Their only loss was a really solid Duke team. And then that also proved that Gonzaga could not be the ultimate winner of this entire season. Plus, Alabama has been starting to sneak up through the ranks of college basketball. This was their signature win that they needed. That put them on the map. They're now a top 10 team and a serious contender, not only for the national championship, but also the SEC title. I really like the Crimson Tide, and it showed that Gonzaga's not immune to losing.
Jaron, did you really just say Gonzaga has 2 losses coming into December? Really? I mean, excuse me, 2 wins? They've got more than 2. And I think it's clear after the Duke game, Gonzaga, yeah, they're vulnerable. And we knew Alabama was good after their run last season. It is Arizona over Michigan. Look, when I think about the word meaningful, I think about the effects on college basketball as a whole. Michigan. They've fallen out of the top 25 since this loss. They started the season in the top 5. And Arizona, oh yeah, they started the season unranked. Where are they now? A top 10 team in the country. The impact on college basketball has been gigantic ever since this game.
Yeah, we'll keep the answers a little bit tighter next time. I'm going to go with Jaron. Bama's win proved that the Zags are not unbeatable, so he gets the point on that one. We're going to keep it terse and pithy now and switch over to the women's side. Liam, who had the most impactful win?
South Carolina over UConn. There's no debate. Jaron, you said it earlier. We have no idea how South Carolina is going to be stopped, right? And this proved all along that South Carolina is the number 1 team in the country. They had 4 of their 10 wins are against top 25 opponents. This was a 1 versus 2 matchup. Oh, and by the way, Jaron, South Carolina in this game trailed by 13 at one point. They won the game by 16. That is a 29-point turnaround. How is that for stats? There's now no doubt the Gamecocks are far and away the best team in the country.
All right, well, I already knew that, so that's not really impactful. What was impactful was unranked Georgia Tech beating number 3 UConn, because it showed that without Paige Beckers, this UConn squad might not be a national contender, which it always is. They had a 240-game winning streak over unranked opponents, and that ended with this win for the Yellow Jackets. Plus, without Paige, they only scored 44 points. That's the fewest they've scored since 2006. Without Paige Beckers, UConn is not UConn, and we have not seen the Huskies not be the Huskies in decades, centuries, who knows?
All right, so I'm actually going with Liam on this one. Showed the dominance of South Carolina and was a fun one to watch. So 1-1 at this point, and both are teams who have witnessed the highs. There's teams who have witnessed the lows. So in your mind, Jaron, of the teams who have witnessed the lows, women's coach, which one is on the hot seat?
That's Tina Thompson of Virginia. She's a couple years into it, but she just hasn't done anything. And this Virginia program was dominant years ago. They're 3-7 this season. She's only 28-43 in 3 years at UVA. That's just a 39% winning percentage. She's had no winning seasons, and UVA only missed the NCAA tournament 3 times between the years of 1984 and 2010. That's a ridiculous stat. They're not doing that anymore. And she's losing a lot of local recruits to bigger schools. So if you can't recruit and you can't
All right, that's all the time you got, Jaron. Now it's your turn.
Jaron, follow your timer, dude. Come on now. Look, I'm calling for one of the big dogs to go. How about Kelly Graves of Oregon? His first season was abysmal. His second season, he made the women's NIT. What did he do? Then, after that, they added Sabrina Ionescu, arguably the greatest player in all of college basketball history, men's and women's. And last year, yeah, they made the Sweet 16. That's okay. But this year, they have 2 top 25 losses. They lost to UC Davis. Are you kidding me? And then they struggled to beat both Portland and Long Beach State. 2 really terrible basketball programs, Jaron.
Yeah, I think you got to give Thompson some time to get that 2022 recruiting class in. Liam, you win this point once again with Kelly Graves. 2-1. Liam in the driver's seat. The final question, of course, worth 2 points. So for all the marbles, Liam, which men's coach is on the hot seat?
All right, I'm pulling out the hot take machine here, and I'm going with Juwan Howard of Michigan. I know it's bold, but I honestly think one of the reasons he was hired is because he was a former player. He had little to no coaching background, right? And what's he done this year? He started the season top 5. I had mentioned it earlier. They lost to a real powerhouse in Minnesota. Sorry, Noah. They're 6-4. They've fallen all the way out of the top 25. And I know what you're going to say, Jaron. Oh, what about Duke and Kentucky last year? They had slumps. Well, they've got 2 of the best coaches in the history of college basketball. Has Juwan Howard proven to be in that class yet? No, he needs to go.
Wow. I just need a quick second to absorb that. I'm going to go Jeff Capel of Pittsburgh because, let's be honest, what has Pittsburgh done since Capel got there 4 years ago? This season at 3-7, losses to the Citadel, to UMBC, to Monmouth. Also, no winning seasons while he's been there. He can't recruit this year. He's bringing in the 105th national recruiting class. So if you can't recruit, plus players are leaving. Last year, 5 players, including 2 of their top 3 scorers, left the program. So players are leaving, you can't bring talent in, and you can't win. Why is Capel still there? Why did they extend him for 2 more years this offseason? It makes no sense.
That's all you got, Jaron. That's all you got. Just a couple clarifying questions for Liam. You picked someone that not only insulted the great state of Minnesota, but also has brought in top 5 recruiting classes and ever since he took the position?
What has Michigan done to
I just wanted to make sure Jaron wins the point and avenges the ghost of Jareth Stearns. Thank you so much for coming on, Liam. Unfortunately, we're going to have to say goodbye, but we'll keep things rolling here on No Pulp after the break. Jaron and I will get in the holiday spirit and give out some gifts.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow.
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
Welcome back. This is No Pulp from the CitrusTV studio. Alongside Noah Cierzan, I'm Jaron May. Noah, now it's time to get festive. It's the holiday season, so let's toss on our Santa hats and give out some presents. We got them right here, beautifully wrapped. Did you do this?
No. I can't rap for absolute darn tootin', but whoever did a great job.
All right, well, we'll toss out a prompt, and each of us will hand out a gift to who we think is most worthy and deserving of the college basketball world. I know you didn't rap it, so let's get right into prompt number one. The most impressive breakout player so far this season in women's hoops. Who's deserving of that present right there?
Yeah, there are a couple different options, but I'm going over to the ACC, specifically a program who deserves some love this holiday season, Notre Dame and Olivia Miles. She's someone who played a little bit for the Fighting Irish last season, but has become an absolute stud this year. 11 points per game, but more importantly, 7 rebounds per game and over 7 assists per game, averaging near triple-double numbers as a freshman point guard, and she's able to set up those star scores that Notre Dame have and able to make them more into snipers. 9-2 is their ranking now on the year. Still got a long ways to go, but for a program that's been 500 or below 2 years in a row, you get a little gift this holiday season.
Okay, I'm going Destiny Leo of Cleveland State. How about that? The Vikings. She deserves some love because she is number 2 in the entire country in scoring, 24 points per game. That's up from 11 last season. She was at 0.7 assists per game, up to 2.5. She was shooting 39% from 3. She's up to 53% from beyond the arc. And she's leading a Viking squad to a perfect 8-0 record. How about that? Destiny Leo, mark me down, a huge fan, and you deserve a present as well.
Yeah, Jaron, both Leo and Miles have been spectacular on the women's side, but who are you giving some extra love to on the men's side?
I'm going Keegan Murray of Iowa because he has also really impressed. Luka Garza, the All-American, All-Everything last year, one of the best players, if not the best player in the entire country. Iowa needs to fill that void. They go to Murray. He goes from 7 points up to 22 points per game. That's second best in the country. He's also improved his rebounding, his assisting, and his blocking. He's a big guy off the bench that has really helped out this Hawkeye squad.
Yeah, Murray, a great one, but I'm going to one of the biggest programs in the country, Duke. More importantly, Wendell Moore Jr. Now in his junior season, came in as a 5-star, didn't really impress his first 2 years, but this year he's playing to the tune of over 17 points per game and playing some great defense. There's a legitimate argument to be made that he is the front runner for the ACC Player of the Year with his teammate Paolo Banchero, so I'm giving out my gift to Wendell Moore Jr.
Okay, a lot of gifts being handed out, and we each have one last gift to give, and it's going to the most surprising team in all of college basketball. Noah, who are you going with?
Yeah, so I think it's the Iowa State Cyclones in the Big 12, picked last in the preseason media poll, 10-0, now ranked 11th, including some big wins against Xavier, Memphis, Creighton, Iowa State, getting it done this year.
All right, so you're going Iowa State. I am going Arizona because they have a new coach. They were picked to finish 4th in the Pac-12. Now they're probably the best team in the conference at 9-0, one of the only teams still undefeated. And they lost 7 players to the transfer portal, 4 of their top 6 scorers. They brought in the number 79 recruiting class. They didn't bring in a lot of talent, and they're way overplaying what they were expected. So final gift, here we go. Toss it out. There we go. All gifts are given, but the holiday cheer is not done just yet. We will wrap up the show, get it? Ha-ha, with our big games of the week and our final words right after this. Don't touch that remote. No Pulp. We'll be right back.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Welcome back into the CitrusTV studio. Noah Cierzan here alongside Jaron May, closing things down on No Pulp 2021. But before we say our goodbyes, we've got to go over a couple of big games. On the men's side, Ohio State, Kentucky, a battle of top 25 squads. Jaron, who you got?
I'm going Ohio State. They're more battle-tested. They've played Duke, they've played Wisconsin, they've played Seton Hall. They won all of those games. Kentucky, a bunch of cupcake wins, plus they're coming off a loss. E.J. Liddell is one of the best players in the country right now. Give me the Buckeyes.
Yeah, like you said, Liddell playing like a first-team All-American right now. Just dropped 28 against a legit Wisconsin squad. I'm also picking the Buckeyes. I just don't think Kentucky have that defender to contain EJ.
A little surprising. We actually agree with something. All right, our second big game of the week. We go to the women's side of things. Number 3 Stanford at number 7 Tennessee.
Yeah, give me Tennessee in this one. A little bit of a spicy pick, but Stanford, they really just haven't been consistent this year, and that's the big thing I'm worried about in this one. Tennessee, a much better rebounding team, and I think they can lock up defensively against the Cardinals and grab the win.
Completely disagree with all of your points right there, Noah. Just don't agree at all. Because specifically, I'm going with Stanford. Cameron Brink averaging almost a double-double, 16 points per game, 8 rebounds per game. She's solid. Give me Stanford in that one.
All right, so we return to normalcy a bit on that last one. But finally, we're going to move to our final words. And for my final word, I needed to give my input on this whole Quinn Ewers sweepstakes. As you all have seen by now, the highest graded QB recruit of all time is transferring to Texas. And I'm going to cut to the chase. This does not mean Texas is back. Sure, Ewers will help, but last time I checked, he won't be suiting up on the same defense that allowed over 31 points per game last season. Throwing my horns down on this one, Jaron. Down.
They are down. All right, well, my final words are about Kenny Pickett and his fake slide. I mean, come on. Bravo, sir. You quite literally changed the game. The NCAA saw what Kenny did and had to completely implement a new rule, as they should. The fake slide is a cheat code if it was allowed. So I'm glad they put in a new rule. But I mean, come on, Kenny Pickett, you are a bad man for that. Whew.
That's pretty cool that he can hang that picture up, though.
Oh, yeah.
A banner moment for Pickett in college football. That's all the time we've got on today's edition of No Pulp, but it's also the final No Pulp of the year and the final No Pulp with this production crew. So we've got to give a quick shout out to our executive producer, Matt Fairfax, along with our associate producers, Ben Spector, Liam Griffin, and Colleen Johnson. Jaron, I know that it's been a blast working with this crew week in and week out. They always bring something creative to the table, and more importantly, make it feel like a fun community that you genuinely love coming down to every week.
Yeah, that's what really stands out. They always have a smile on their face. They always make it exciting and come down. Sometimes this can, you're tired, you're overworked, but I always look forward coming down to seeing their faces, working with them. This show and its creativity and its amazing product that it has produced is all thanks to them, and we know that they are going to continue on whatever that they do. They will be successful.
Exactly. So there's only one way to go out on this show. For Jaron May and Noah Cierzan, I'm saying so long and mahalo for your kakua.